Y'all should check this game out, it's pretty good. So if you're a fan of the original Flatout series, this is a game that might look familiar to you because it was developed by Bugbear Entertainment, the original developers of the Flatout series. Wreckfest is a grassroots American-style destruction derby racing game, and it's kind of unique. We don't really get games like this too often. This game is kind of like Beam MG if that game had structured racing events. And it's actually funny that it kind of compares to Beam MG because this originally started out as a Kickstarter project where I believe they were going for this realistic destruction simulator type of deal, which was very similar to what Beam MG was doing. However, at some point in development, it looks like they put a lot more emphasis on the arcade racing elements of the game, and it's crafted into what we know now as Wreckfest. It's came a long way from its next car game roots. It's gotten a lot of console ports, so you can play it on your PC. There's a lot of different ways to play it, but are you gonna even play it if it's good? Well, that's what I'm hoping to fill you in on in this video. I myself almost didn't check this game out until I got a comment on one of my videos saying, hey, you should check out Wreckfest. It's pretty fun. And I don't have that comment anymore to show the person who commented it, and I feel really bad about that, but if you're seeing this video, you're the product of this, so thanks for the recommendation because this is a good-ass game. It's a pretty simple arcade racer. You got your simple stuff like your circuits, your sprints, time trials, things of that nature, and then you got some more goofy one-off stuff that you have in these sandboxy type of game modes. They'll also just throw in some fun vehicles like a lawnmower or a couch with a motor in it for whatever reason. It's just some goofy fun. This kind of reminds me of some of those stuntman elements in the original Flatout games. I wish this had a stuntman mode. That would have been really fun, but nonetheless, we still got a banger-ass game. These different race modes will take you through a series of tournaments in the single player mode, and the AI is pretty decent. When it comes to those vehicles, you got a whole array of cars from American, domestic, imports, and none of them are branded, of course, because none of the brands want to see their cars being smashed to pieces. But if you got a keen eye, you'll be able to tell what's what. You'll be able to easily say, oh, that's a Honda CRX or a Crown Vic or a Datsun. The game kind of plays like a Sim-Katy type of racer. Like, it's not necessarily a simulation, but it's not too arcadey to the point that you feel like you're literally in an arcade game. It's got a nice balance between realism and fun. You can easily oversteer and you can easily control that oversteer. You also get some tuning options to change your acceleration and your handling depending on how you want to drive, whether you want to have an open differential or if you want to lock it up and do some sick skids. Also, that variety of cars comes into play when you're doing things like the Destruction Derby game mode where you're just smashing them up. Different vehicles have different health, of course. A small little Japanese car is going to be vastly different from a school bus. And health definitely plays a big part in this game because you'll have 10 laps in the circuit race and you'll have to last those 10 laps. But if your car gets destroyed in the process of you doing those 10 laps, well, you're out of luck. And that leads us into easily the biggest selling point of this game. If you've been watching any of the gameplay, you've probably definitely noticed the destruction engine. The amount of ways you can bang up, bend, and mangle these cars is absolutely incredible. It's so much fun to tear them up. It reminds me of playing the old NASCAR games on the PC as a kid, like back in the early 2000s, and just going reverse on the track to see how you could smash the cars up. It's an extremely good time, so much to the fact that if I'm playing in a race and I'm not winning, I don't even care because I'm just having fun in the race. It's so much fun to see how the cars can flip around and how all these dynamic elements can clash when you're playing. As I'm watching the gameplay here, I feel like I should emphasize a little bit more on the damage model. It's not just cosmetic. A big thing about the damage model in this game is that you're actually destroying things like your drivetrain, your suspension, and your car's going to react a little bit differently depending on how you're hit, and it's going to be harder to complete that race as you go along. Again, the biggest selling point of this game is the destruction, so I feel like I really got to hammer down the point that it's just so much fun and it's really detailed. I feel like it's as close as you can get to the Beam MG level of destruction while still keeping a consistent flow for a racing game, and this does that very well. But of course, the game is based on racing or how well you do in something like a Destruction Derby, and you're going to get credits and upgrades based on those races, and you can use those credits in the store to buy more cars and upgrade elements. I didn't get too much into that, but I would say this is going to be something that benefits you if you're looking to get a little bit more out of the single player content. If you're playing this game on the go or you're not really looking for a multiplayer experience, this is where that's definitely going to benefit you. These races play out on circuit races, oval track tracks, dirt racing, concrete, it doesn't matter. And the game also just looks beautiful, man. It's a very good looking game. You got all these particle effects, dust effects kicking up when you're driving around the track. Every little bit of the car gets destroyed. You got bumpers flying off. All of the visual elements are really incredible, but they don't really hold up if you don't have good audio to accompany them, and I think the audio is great, man. Whether it's the sound of an engine roaring as you're starting it up, or kicking around a turn, or you're smashing into a concrete barrier and you're hearing that concrete crumble as you hit it. It's very detailed and meaty and satisfying. I just really enjoyed the audio that accompanies the gameplay. I also enjoyed the soundtrack. It's just some of that good heavy metal that accompanies a game that's kind of rough around the edges like this, and it definitely shows their roots when it comes down to those original Flat Out games. It just fits the bill so well. Like, every element is just so consistent. It's not like they just pick some music out of an asset library or whatever they were able to easily license and call it a day. It really feels like it fits the game perfectly. What I'm saying is that this game has the bones for a great racing game, and while yeah, that's fun in the single player experience and that is important, but for me, this really shines in the multiplayer, and it shows just how well this game plays. I didn't spend a lot of time in the single player of this game. I didn't spend a lot of time upgrading and customizing my cars, but what I did spend a lot of time in was the multiplayer. I got into this with a friend and we were jumping into custom servers on PC, and it's so fun when you got like 30 people on a track and within the first turn everybody's smashing each other up. You got different servers that might be a little more restrictive and conservative on the rules and how you're going to race and what classes you're going to use to race, because every vehicle has a different class. You got small cars, muscle cars, big buses, and the little awkward cars like a lawnmower. But you have these PC custom servers where there's no limits. You can drive the whole track in reverse. You can use whatever vehicle you want, and it is extremely chaotic, and it really shows where this game shines. It is so much fun. I played the multiplayer for hours, and I had that feeling of, oh, I'm just gonna play one more and get off. But then I was like, oh, but I kind of want to see how far along I can get this race. I got like 6th place last race. Let's see if we can get 3rd. Also, on top of that, it doesn't really matter how good you do in the race, because every game mode and every game type is fun while you're playing in multiplayer. So you're like, I don't care. It's just fun to watch the destruction. So even if your car gets knocked out halfway through the race, you can be spectating and you're having a fun time just watching all these cars go at it. It's really just hard to emphasize how fun it is to just watch the chaos in this game. I don't know how I slept on a game like this. It's just this fun sandbox style racing game where anything goes and you just have a fun time smashing stuff up, and I just love games like this, man. Like, cool, man, you can upgrade the front fenders. I don't care. I'm just gonna take the car out on the track and smash it up. There's just so much to get into this game, and you can do that pretty much on any platform that you want to. Whether you're playing on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, this game runs so damn well. Special mention to the PS5 port of this game. It adds things like adaptive trigger support and haptics, so if you're slamming on your brakes, your trigger gets tightened up, or you can feel the way your car hits on a certain side of it when you hit a wall through the vibration in the motors. It's really, really good. But one port that extremely shocked me, which is more of a recent one, is the Nintendo Switch port of this game. I don't know how the fuck they got this running on the Nintendo Switch. Total magic. It still looks incredible, and the fact that this game runs at all with the destruction model that it has just blows my mind. Also, here's an oddball for you when it comes to playing this game. It's no surprise that of course the PC port of this game is good, but it also runs amazingly on the Steam Deck. I'm talking maxed out, by the way, on these settings. I even jumped into multiplayer where it really gets chaotic and crazy, and it still ran well. You could tone back some of the settings and get a solid 60 FPS experience on the Steam Deck with this thing, no problem. Man, what a fucking time we live in. You remember when we'd get different ports of games that compromise the experience, like on the PSP, but now you can just play the full fat version of the game on the Nintendo Switch or on the Steam Deck? It's absolutely mind-boggling. The game's also just a really good value. Like with other PC games, you can get this thing extremely cheap on PC, or you could pick it up for the Nintendo Switch. I'm sure you can find it on sale for that and other consoles, but whatever you're playing it on, you can pretty much be guaranteed that you're going to get a good experience with this game, and you're getting a lot of value for your money. Whether you're into the single player and the car customization, or you just want a fun multiplayer racing game to play where you don't really give a fuck about progression and ranking up in your actual skill, but you just want to have fun, you really don't got to look any further than Wreckfest. It's a really good time, and I'm really glad that it was recommended to me. I mean, come on, dude. The maps are intentionally designed for you to run into each other and just cause mayhem. The game is beautiful, perfectly orchestrated chaos, and I couldn't look any further for a more fun racing game with all of these destruction elements. Maybe outside of Beam. If you want some hot content from me that you're not going to see anywhere else publicly on YouTube, check out my members tab where it's still on YouTube, but it's just for the members, like these guys right here. You want to be like these guys right here? Go check out the members, man. God, I hate selling myself. All right, let's see if we wreck up here on this figure 8. Ooh, near miss, baby. Go play fucking Wreckfest, man. It's really fun. It's a great time. I'm telling you, man, if you're looking for a racing game like this, you're missing out. I think I've docked like 16 hours on this thing. It's really good. Seriously, why are you still watching the video? Like, the video is over. Okay, you want some more car video content from me? Go watch the Gran Turismo videos I did. Go watch the Twisted Metal videos I did. I think I made a Need for Speed Underground video, which kind of sucked a few years back before I was really getting into the retrospective stuff. Point is, I got some banger ass content on my channel you can go watch, but I do have to edit this video at some point, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one, hopefully. Bye.